This is Madstone Crater on Normal. Before you run the quest, you want to make sure that you talk to Sidoni to get the Ark. In addition, you want to make sure you have, it's helpful anyways to have some invis scrolls. So you can see as I scroll over the invis scrolls, my chance to activate is only 50%, but there's a few ways I can increase that. First of all, I can use my Greater Heroism, which adds 20%. I'll be running that. Secondly, I could swap to my cloak, which has command 4, that adds another 20%. So that brings me to 90% right there. If I want to be 100%, I can click on my human versatility skill boost. So we're going to use these to invis the giants so that they get less aggro from the enemies. Secondly, you want to go talk to this NPC here, Blaze, and he will give you the Madstone Crater quest. So I'm going to pause it while I make my way to the quest. Going in on normal. And I'm just going to use my DPS buffs for this quest since it's normal.
On a bluff high above
We
the
talk to
giant
Blaze.
chieftain, a red crystal radiant Blaze calls out after you.
And this part is technically optional, but I'm going to go ahead and just clear it.
Help them stop this madness before we tear ourselves apart.
And once those enemies are taken care of, you go get these trolls over here. And then some more enemies spawn until basically the objective's met. Alright, so now it's met. That's gonna be useful later. But we want to go this way. You can see the little portal there next to these kind of 3 giants. So we're going to defeat these 3 giants, then go use that entrance there. We have to follow them to their spot.
An insane fire burns in the eyes of the giants. His mind warped utterly by the madness spell.
There is a unique condition you can get from this quest. It's a special rage that's only in this quest. If you get infected by some of the enemies that are
In the
infected.
passage beneath the crater,
If that happens, you won't be able to
intense
cast spells
heat
to heal
wells
yourself.
up from the floor.
There's a timer on it, so it'll eventually go away. I believe it's called Madstone Rage. It's been a while since I've had it. We'll see if I get it.
There are no signs of a spellcaster or the giant seers ahead. Only piles of gargantuan bones. A gateway slides open, and beyond, A living giant bellows in rage.
So you only need to kill the Madstone Enchanter there. Once that's done,
These guardians have some new
the
magic,
giant will
says the
be available to
seer.
talk to.
They protect
If
the
you kill the giant, you can't kill
South
the
Crystal.
giant. So
Come
if you accidentally hit the
quickly.
giant, it's not going to hurt him. So don't worry about that. You don't have to switch weapons. If you kill him, effectively he becomes sort of deactivated, stops fighting, and then when the fighting's done, he'll talk to you. And if you ever get confused on direction, the way I usually think about it is that in this first one, you want to go to the right when you're in the room, right at the end of where you get to, where the fight is there. You want to go right, and in the other two caves, you want to go right from the shrine. There's no shrine in this first one. The path is somewhat linear, but on the first path, all right, you're going to get to a section that kind of splits to high and low. You want to take the high path. The low path
The bluff seen from the crater floor lies ahead.
is the way to the next
a
area.
shimmering magic crystal at its top.
In this area, you pretty much just kill everything. This is the first seer, so each area is a little different in terms of what you're going to do. So for the first seer, I just clear everything here. There's one ogre. Let's make sure we get him. He could do a lot of casting damage to the giant. And this first seer, there's not really, it's mostly melees. There's not a lot of casting things you have to worry about.
Stands before the
Alright, so you see my chance of doing this is 50%. So I'm going to put on my cloak. That busts me to 65%, interestingly enough. So I must have a command 1 because it didn't give me the full amount. Then I'm going to give myself greater heroism. That gets me to 85%. And lastly, I'm going to do my human versatility boost. Then I'm going to equip my scroll and use it on him. And so now the enemies at least won't see him. Now that's only good for 5 minutes. So now we talk to him.
The seer turns to you.
And we kill anything that is going up that way. All the enemies will spawn here, so you can wait here and try to get their aggro. Usually what I'll do is I'll just wait here and start cleaving. If the enemy takes damage, if the giant takes damage, you want to heal him, basically. So because they have the giant's invisible, we get their attention pretty easily. They don't charge up and attack the giant.
The seer calls out, "Keep them at bay."
And I don't have any special tomes or anything, so if you have gear similar to mine, you'll have the same UMD. So the source of the UMD, currently it's it's including the buffs, but basically the original 50% chance I have is from a 10 is from a 24, so that would be 14 UMD. And so 5 is coming from ranks, and 6 is coming from abilities, 11. So I must be getting some. Oh, and then there's going to be some from ship buffs.
Almost done, the seer screams. Not much longer.
Probably +2 from ship buffs at this level. Most of the skill bumps are +1 at 1, +2 at 11, and +3 at 21 from ship buffs. So the good news is that this one is pretty easy. The bad news is that the other two are harder. But I'll show you. We'll get through them with the invis scrolls and with buffing the giant. All right.
I feel the magic source.
So when you get that message, you talk to him, and then you go on to the next crystal. So the next crystal, if you're kind of looking down at the giant, looking down at the cave, you kind of follow it down. And this is you're going to want to jump to your left, but you're going to want to be careful here because you could easily jump. I've seen people try to jump too soon. So you want to kind of go down here and then jump down here. You don't want to. I've seen people try to jump before that crystal and miss it, and you don't want to do that. All right, so this is basically the cave to the next seer that we have to rescue.
Dust and debris
So basically the idea is that these seers are held captive by these enchanter skeletons, and we need to. So these guys can all give the Madstone range, and that'll be more of a problem on elite, because if we can't heal ourselves, obviously we were relying 100% on the hireling.
The gate opens, and a maddened giant seer comes charging out.
Whoop, I went the wrong way. Alright, so don't do that. So we can ignore this seer for now and then go right to the skeleton. And you can use your Holy Retribution on him and should one-shot him if you have your Sunder item. Alright, so then we talk to the seer.
Overcame me, says the seer. Better now. Time to
and then there's a shrine down here. So what I always do is I just kind of, if you don't use a shrine, that's fine, but you'll know that when you're in the shrine area, the way to the next way is always right. It can get a little easy to get confused in here. You'll know you backtracked when you basically because you're facing no enemies.
A bright cascade of lava plummets from height. Below, it
And again, it's fairly linear, but here when you get this way, you want to, instead of going down, you want to go to the right towards these two archers that are shooting at us and follow the path up.
Four natural ramps rise up to the central crystal.
And you can leave the skeletons; they won't cause any problems. And in fact, they'll sort of. Well, I guess we'll just go ahead and get them, but they'll actually, in some ways, sort of distract from the enemies, but they also can kind of harass you. So, the next area, I definitely leave them. In this area, not so doesn't really matter.
Madstone must be destroyed,
All
says
right,
the
so then what we're
seer.
gonna do is
Ready
put
when
him
you
on invisibility. And again, you can boost your chances before doing this, and then talk to him. And then you don't want to
are.
stand
The
near him.
seer
You want to
turns
kind of
to
stand
you.
away from him.
I do the ritual. You
Keep an eye
keep
on his hit
me
points, though.
safe.
And if he starts taking damage, just heal him and then kill anything that comes up. Things will come up from the other side too. So you don't want to stand too close to him because they'll shoot him by shooting at you. And then just check his health periodically and make sure it's okay. There's a bunch of guys up. There's a guy up top. There's some guys up top, but they won't attack him because he's invisible. If there's a champion up there that has seen visibility for some reason, then you might need to go up there and kill that enemy, before continuing. But generally, you just wait until things come to you here.
The seer calls
You
out.
don't want to stand by the
Keep
giant
them at
because then
bay.
he'll get sort of incidental damage. But you could just briefly do it like this, but then back away.
Another crazed storm
So you can see they see me, so they start shooting.
I'm sure more. But at least
Come
their
down
number
here.
has been
Let's see if he
culled.
took any incidental damage. Yeah, he did. So let's heal him up. But they're trying to shoot me. They're not trying to shoot him because he's invisible.
Almost done, Seer screams. Not much longer.
All right, I don't think he's taking any damage there, but
The seer looks dizzy
all
and
right.
faint.
So
I
he's
can
done now.
feel him
At this point, you don't have to worry about the objectives met,
His
so we're done.
death was
So we're
a
going to go
feat.
back down the way we
But
came,
first,
which is
the
to the left
crystal.
here. And so now we have to rescue the third seer objective. And the way to get to the third seer is, go down to the left, just follow this path, like on the left of the wall. And then you're going to get to a drop down, right? And you want to drop down. And so this is the way that we came in. We came in and we went up there. We didn't go left. We didn't go the low path there. We went to the right. So we pass that up. And then there's going to be this big spawn of memories. Good place for Holy Retribution. You just want to make sure that you're kind of facing this direction. You don't want to get pushed into the lava. You have to figure a way out. All right, so then we'll go to this next area to rescue the third seer.
The tunnel
And the reason
rises
I'm only
ahead,
running this on normal for
winding
now
up
is
the
that after we
crater's
complete
edge.
the 3 flagging quests plus Giant Hole Tour, we're going to get a named item. And we're going to get that, it's going to be a random list, and we're going to get that each time that we complete. So we want to get 3 items, so that's why I'm going to run the normal chain, the hard chain, and then eventually the elite chain, because we'll be at 20, we won't be able to run Reaper by the time we get there.
From beyond the opened gate comes a dull sound of footsteps, drivers rattling boots.
And then I should have saved my Holy Retribution because I can one-shot this enchanter, but he's pretty easy, especially at normal. Then talk to the 3rd seer. Don't forget to talk to the seer. If you don't talk to him, he won't go to the spot, so you have to come all the way back and get him.
My
But all you do is
ancestors'
click on him and he
bones,
transfers there.
grumbles the seer, made to fight against me. Time we ended this outrage.
And so again, so from the shrine area here, whether you use it or not, let me call the hireling over. I had her stand her ground before. You always want to go right from the shrine, from the 2nd and the 3rd area. There's no shrine in the 1st area, so you just go right from the quest or from the room itself in the 1st area.
Arrows shower down from the entrance to the crater's northern
This path's a
slope.
little more linear. You just kind of go up. All right, and you can just ignore the archers. They won't follow you, and they don't do all that much damage. I like to make sure I get these Ogre Magi before I move on. All right, for this area, we're going to leave the skeletons,
Across the bridge and up the
and we
cliff
just want to
lies
kill
the
these
North
ogres.
Crystal.
So I'm just going to... Look, did I kill a skeleton? Nope. So I'm just going to run up here, kind of circle around to your left, and then anything that comes through, we're just going to kill it before we start this fight.
The seer awaits your order, nervously looking at the ground.
And see, the skeletons kind of...
Ambush here is almost certain.
We'll put her over here. And the skeletons sort of block the way, so they're kind of useful. All right, and the Magi, I'm going to come down and beat him because he's in the way. All right, and then kind of head back up and hope I don't get knocked down by these guys. All right, well, we'll just ignore him for now. If he comes back, we'll get him with a bow. All right, so you want the hireling, like I usually just stand right here. So you find a good spot. This is actually a good spot right here too. So put the hireling here, sort of away from the mob, and kind of keep highlighted on the seer. And then there's nothing up here now, but there's going to be a bunch of mobs up there. We don't want them to aggro, so we're... Okay, here we go. I'm going to get the mage with my bow. Wanted to wait till he was done. Alright, so then I'm going to give myself my greater heroism, put my cloak on, heal him. He took some damage, I think, from the giant. And I am going to give him all the resists, so fire. You can see he's getting these resists. Give him greater heroism. Give him acid, electric, and even sonic for this third one because there's a lot of casters up top. And then lastly, I'm going to invis him. And I failed. My chances are 85%, so I'll use the human skill boost to make it 100. So now he's invis, and so now we can talk to him and start his thing. Now we need to keep an eye on
The
his health,
seer turns to you. The ritual begins.
and we only have to here we only have to deal with things that come through here. We don't have to deal with anything up top. As long as we don't want to go anywhere near the giant, and then the stuff will leave him alone. We just want to keep an eye, and it should come and aggro on us, not on the giant. There we go. So these guys. And you don't want to go near the giant, right? So you can see the seer. They're trying to get us, right? They don't see the giant. Over here. And so that's what we want. We want those enemies aggroed on us, not on the giant. We still want to keep an eye on his health. Make sure that he's not taking damage.
The seer calls out. Keep them at bay.
Alright, so here's another one. So we want to get him. You don't want to kill the giants though, because they kind of block the way. So they're effective the way that they are. And you can see the seer's not really taking any damage. Because they have all their arrows and such pointing at us, but they can't get to us under this overhang. They're trying, but they can't get to us.
Almost done, the seer screams. Not much longer.
And if for whatever reason, if he is taking damage and it's not too much, just keep him healed. Like, you don't have to stop the damage from coming in as long as it's not too much. Alright, so I hear something now. So here's another Minotaur, so I want to just kind of get their attention. Get to my safe spot here in this little alcove. Check on the seer's health, and he's still full. Alright, so he is done.
Magic comes from the sky.
And now you can kill all this stuff here if you want. If you don't have to really talk to the giant, basically. He's done once you get that message. And so if you kind of look down here from this area where the giant is and go a little off to the right, you'll see this cave. And so you just jump down to this cave. Now we unlock this area
lava forms a
by
deadly
clearing that
pool in the
front
trough.
area. So we'll just we can go here for a final shrine. I'm gonna call my hireling. I'm just gonna have him give me a few spell points. I'm not gonna bother shrining. That should be enough for normal. And then we're just gonna go through this cave entrance. There's an optional that was off to your right. I'm gonna skip that, and the shrine we didn't need. Then just go back and talk to Blaze.
Just in time, says
And he gives us to
Blaze.
defeat the skeleton.
Look The
And
gate
then you're
to
going to
the
want to just follow
spire's
this path
gone
up here
down,
left.
and a
Again, the
horde
same
of
path we followed the
maddened
giants at.
monsters is coming
And
through
you can
it.
see all that mob coming. Big mob. They're all Madstone Rage infected. So they just want to retribution as much as you can initially. All right, then we'll go up the mountain.
The crater's large central spire lies beyond the Gate of Bone. Does the caster of the Madness magic wait atop that peak? A narrow ramp winds up to the top of the spire. At its peak, the true caster of the Madstone spell awaits. A skeletal warlock. This must be the
So kind of
soul
avoid. You want to avoid that chaos orb if you can. Pretty tough fight on Reaper Elite.
The skeleton
All right, so he's
warlock
down,
casting the Madstone spell is no
and
more.
there's a small
But why
chance
was it here
for a
in the
named item
first
here.
place? Perhaps
All right,
Blaze and his seers have answers.
we want to go back down and talk to Blaze, and you can follow the path down. See if I can see Blaze. You want to make sure you don't miss your jump if you're going to jump. But basically, the safe thing is just follow the path down. A common thing is if people have dimension doors, they'll use dimension door to get back to the front because that's right by where Blaze is. But if you don't have dimension door, you either need to jump down, but the safest thing is just to take this path down. Same way you came. And then you just talk to Blaze.
Good,
Quest is over.
the giant roars.
I'm going to pause it while I
My
go get my end
seers
reward.
say these skeletons were dragon magic. Arr.
So Blaze offers us a few items. Not too bad, like a impact quarterstaff, ironically with spell penetration on it. Uh, False Life 20 item. Let's see what this is. Oh, was hoping that was going to be death block. But anyways, I'm going to grab this because there is a something I want to test. Uh, to use the adamantine ore, you also need soul gems from earth elementals, and the only way to get that is with the trap the soul spell. But I want to test to see if I could actually just stand there on casual and get those guys to, and eventually get them to proc and get them that way. So I'm going to grab this, and I'm going to run a little test later with this armor. Let me lock it so I don't forget and accidentally craft on it. All right, and then I'm going to pause while I go back over to Cyclone. All right, and Cyclone, it gives me the next mission. It says quest completed, and Runes of Giant Hold, Prison of the Plains quest bestowed. So she wants me to do that one next. So that's what I'm going to do. Prison of the Plains will be next. And that is Madstone Crater on normal. And the reason I'm running these on normal first instead of normal and hard like I've usually been doing is because after we run these on normal, Sidoni will give us a reward and a named item.